What's up? What's up? What's up?
What is going? Are we live, Seeker?
I think we're live.
Let's see. Can everyone hear my mic? Can they hear Seeker's mic? Can you guys see us?
They can. They probably heard the background music playing through again because I accidentally forgot to mute it. But that's okay. That's okay, as long as they can hear us now.
I think they can hear us. I guess they'll tell us in the chat.
Well, I see a couple of people saying hi.
Can you guys hear us? If you can, just say, okay, Michael says yes.
Cool. Well, Rob, it's your channel, your stream. Get us started, man. What's up?
Welcome, everyone, once again to another Bullion and Beyond live stream on my channel this time with Silver Seeker as the guest. Silver Seeker, how have you been? What's going on in the silver stacking community that's new or not new that you want to cover kind of quickly before we get into the U.S. Mint that announced, well, the Treasury announced they're going to stop making pennies next year. But before we get into that, what's going on your end of business?
To be honest with you, not much. It's been a pretty slow last month. Silver's been in a lull. A lot of people excited about Bitcoin again. I think it crossed 110 the other day. So, yeah. That's taking some of the attention away from gold and silver. So things are a little bit slow on the gold and silver side, and that's totally fine. Gives us a second to breathe. But I don't think it's over yet. I think there's a lot to come. Whether or not that's going to be good or bad, I don't know. But I think there's going to be a lot of excitement to come here the rest of the year. So we'll see how it goes.
Hey, Sloppy Stacks, good to see you. Yeah, I agree. I mean, let's think about it, though. In the last month, gold has almost touched $3,500 an ounce. Silver was at $34 an ounce. I mean, that's some pretty exciting stuff right there for those that have it in their stack. Maybe not somebody who's buying it brand new. They wouldn't mind it being a little less, but still exciting stuff that we have such a surge in gold and silver, especially if you think about it. From what I recall, gold and silver have outperformed the stock market this year. Yeah,
it's done very well. I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying since it's slowed down, people have kind of like shifted attention elsewhere. You know, it's 2025, so the attention span of the average person is minuscule at best. And,
well, maybe not for the boomers and the Gen X's like us, but maybe for the ones that are younger, probably.
Yeah, well, you know, YouTube Shorts and TikTok.
Shorts and TikTok and all that stuff. It puts out 1 to 3 minute content, and that's the way everyone wants to watch nowadays. It seems like.
That's what. Hey, Sam.
Although, if it's a good video by Seeker, I wish it was longer sometimes. I'm not gonna lie.
Sorry. Well, you don't want to overdo it. Then you don't have.
That's true.
Yeah. Anyway. Sam Wilson said he's 2 straps into a 1K bill hunt.
Oh, nice, Sam. I like bill hunting. And bill hunting is, listen, if you're somebody who's unable to get bank boxes and you're unable to get even rolls of coins, it's another way that because the bank's not going to tell you, not going to give you some one, whether it's a couple of straps or it's a full brick or whatever, you can always get that. It's very light to carry. You can get fines and you can resell on eBay if that's what you want to do or add to your collection. And then you can bring it back to the bank and not really spend any of your own money. It's really easy to do without the discomfort and the hassle of moving around coinage. That being said, I'll take a penny hunt over a bill strap any day of the week. And I know I'm due for a penny hunt. That's Thursday's video. Speaking of Penny Seeker, I know you've got a bunch of pennies in your collection, but the Treasury announced, I think it was May 22nd or 20th. It's been about a week almost that they are discontinuing or at least halting the minting of US pennies after early or midpoint next year. They already have purchased all of the blanks, which are going to be Zinc blanks, and they're already going to mint all through till they run out next year, and they're not going to mint them anymore. At least that's what they're saying. And so I know a lot of people have been asking questions about that, and we want to cover that. But I do have a membership announcement from Eric A. 13 months. Thank you very much, brother. Yes, 13 months of support. That's a big deal. I appreciate it. Seeker, were you going to say something, or was there a question that you wanted to ask in the chat?
Oh, I was going to ask. I know obviously they're minting 2025s, and someone actually just said that. But what about 2026s? Will there be 2026s?
Yeah, they said they're going to mint pennies until early to midpoint of 2026. And how I took that, there has not been an official U.S. mint release saying what the program is going to be or the minting schedule, but how I took it early on so far is that they're going to mint pennies through the 2026 production year. I hope they change if it's going to be the last penny minted. Remember, the first pennies were minted technically in 1792. There were some patterns, but the first release minted penny was 1793, the U.S. chain cent. And it's called a cent. I know people are going to kill me with it, but listen, they're called pennies. Everyone calls them pennies. That's what everyone looks for. The boxes say pennies. The rolls say pennies. I know they're U.S. cents. That being said, that's what if it was 1792 was the pattern, 1793 was the first official release. If 2026 is the 250th anniversary of our nation, and it's also the halting of the first U.S. coin minted for production, I hope they put out a awesome design and a farewell properly to that coin. Real quickly, I got to get on with the chat. I see that we also had Silver Seeker, 69 months. Thank you, brother. Technically, that's, other than Charlani, you're the longest surviving member. Charlani was first, my wife. Then you were second as a member. You guys are both 69 months. You might have been first, actually. I can't remember if you were right in front of her because I told you both at the same time. But 69 months, man, almost 7 years of support. Thank you very much. And also, J-Dog, I see it, $5 super chat. Thank you. What was I saying, Seeker? Oh, about the penny. I hope they go out with a nice boom and give us, if not a single change in design to it, then a commemorative 2026 set for the 250th, which I would imagine they've already got planned, but I haven't seen anything. Maybe someone else has. Any thoughts on a commemorative set?
I think it'd be great to have a final year commemorative. As Inkman just said, it's the 250th anniversary. They need to have a special mint set for that year, which should include the penny. I also have a comment about the word penny because so many people get mad about, using the term penny, but let me remind you how language works. So if I were to sit in this chat and say, hey, everybody, the U.S. is getting rid of the dingle hoppers, and everybody knew what I was talking about, that is a word. It doesn't matter if it's official or not. Yes, officially it's an assent, but everybody knows it as a penny. Even the people that hate the word penny know it as a penny, know what a penny means, so it's a word. And yeah.
If you were to poll every U.S. citizen and ask them, what do you call the U.S. denomination that's worth one? If you just say worth one or finish this sentence, Abe Lincoln is featured on the U.S. coin called one blank. 90% will say penny or pennies. 90%. That's why it's a more searchable term. That's why we say it. I always title my videos, and I always say I'm doing a penny hunt, but every time I find a wheat cent, I always say wheat cent. Not always. I'm sure there's a wheat penny in there somewhere, but I say wheat cent 99% of the time. That being said, I do have a quick shout out to Billy Bob 139324. 39 months already. I remember when he signed up, I was like, that's a cool name. It's a lot of numbers and stuff, but it was a cool name because it has Bob in it. But thank you, 39 months. And I also want to acknowledge Visterian's comment. You're right. Of course, there's an exclusion clause. The mint's going to make money on special mint sets and for numismatic coins. So they'll always probably, like the Kennedys and the Ikes, just because coins aren't minted for circulation doesn't mean they're not going to have them for numismatic value. But if it's going to be the first official year, the first official coin minted for circulation was the penny, and the last penny is going to be minted for circulation next year, and its 250th anniversary, they should go out with it correctly, at least a cool business strike release, if not just for the special sets for the 250th. Seeker?
I was going to say, Indigon Demon said he's hoping the nickel follows suit soon and we can just go to a base of 10 cents.
Seeker, we were just talking about that. Do you have any thoughts on about the nickel that we were saying before the stream about how it costs more to mint and what they could do?
I don't have too much to say on it. I will say though that it's crazy to see that we're getting to a point. I mean, they did it in Canada, but Canada still has the nickel. The Canadian nickel is steel though, so they would need to reduce. This is what Rob and I were talking about before the stream. If they did do it, if they did get rid of the penny and nickel becomes basically your smallest change, they are going to need to reduce the cost of it. So get rid of it, maybe reduce the cost by making it zinc coated steel like Canada does. Maybe, I don't know, but they're going to have to do something.
They have to do something, and everyone's concerned about, remember, the stopping the minting of the penny does not change us rounding up or down to the nearest nickel just yet. There are millions and billions and billions of pennies out in circulation. There will be for a few years. The few years will give businesses and POS systems time to update and integrate and do different tax laws in order to round up and down to make it closer to the nearest nickel. So that will be something down the road. For now, we'll see if they actually execute and finalize and make sure it's officially done that they stop minting pennies next year. And will it hold through the next election term? We don't know. Bottom line is the U.S. Treasury Department did announce that they were going to halt minting pennies when they run out of the blanks that they've already purchased in early to mid 2026. So I wanted to give a collector and a coin roll hunter's quick opinion on my side, and then I would love for you guys to yay, nay, object, or have your fair say. As a collector, it doesn't really change much because I can still get numismatic coins. I could still get sorry, my phone's beeping like crazy. I could still get numismatic coins from the mint. It will drive the price up on existing coins to put together sets in the next 5 to 10 years. Not immediately, or maybe a little bit immediately for the FOMO reason. But after that calms down, it will drive collections up a little bit in value because they no longer mint them as normal. As a coin roll hunter, it's going to suck because then I won't be able to get boxes of coins. And you and I both know as they start minting them and then halt the mint production, the banks will jump on the bandwagon. They'll stop ordering them as much. They'll stop having them in stock as much. It'll be harder to get them. So my advice to coin roll hunters right now, if it suits your budget and they're only $25 a box and they're only 50 cents a roll, is I would stock up as much as possible for 2 reasons. One, a content creator like me and a penny lover like me wants to be able to coin roll hunt some boxes and some rolls. 2, I would stock up because when they're gone and you can't get them anymore and you do it just for fun and you're not a content creator, you're going to be missing out on wanting to hunt pennies. And so get as many boxes as possible. I hate saying that selfishly because I would not want my banks to start running out, but run around over the next 6 to 12 months and get as many rolls and or boxes as you can and stock up. Go ahead, Zeke.
I was just going to say, I'd be less concerned about your bank running out, Rob, and more concerned for your closet.
For my what?
Your closet.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the closet. That's a concern, running out of space there. But I am going to.
No, not the space when your closet collapsed. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. I don't store them on a shelf anymore. They're on floors. But yeah, no, I'm planning on stocking them as much as I can. I'm planning on making sure that I have enough that would get me at least. You got to figure if I hunt 2 boxes a week, I need 104 boxes for a year. So my plan is that when 2026 mid 2026 happens, I at least have 104 boxes. That's my plan.
Wow, that'd be cool. Well, hey, it'll keep you doing videos for a while.
Really quickly, I do want to thank Adventures with Max with a $2 super chat. Hello, everyone, he says. What's going on, brother? Seeker, I'm going to be looking for any comments, anything you want to add regarding, like for you, I know you used to do some penny hunts. Pennies is not your passion. I know silver bullion and premium silver and silver stacking is more of your passion, but you've always had a soft spot, for pennies as well in your life because your dad and you both collected coins. I
actually have some really cool pennies. I actually have here with me. I could probably show you if I can find them. So no, I actually like pennies quite a bit. The issue with hunting pennies for me is that one, it's not, my eyes aren't as good as they used to be. And then two, I just don't have the time. I just don't have the time. You know, your channel is focused around coin roll hunting. Mine's not. So, you know, finding the extra time to do, you know, to hunt penny boxes all the time. I just don't have the time I used to have for it.
Loose change, FKA Scott H. Are you guys going to start loading on penny boxes to sell on eBay? Probably not me, because the amount of money I would make on selling the coins on eBay would be minimal compared to the content that I can create for my penny coin roll hunts. But if I'm somebody that wants to have a little bit of maybe an investment, I guess, yeah, why not? I mean, I hunt nickels right now, and every time I find 2024 Denver nickels, I make circulated coin rolls, and those things still sell for $75 to $100 a roll, and I found them for $2. So I will sell stuff that's not collectible to me. If someone's going to buy it anyway, I'll put it out there for sale. But for the pennies, I wouldn't personally do that.
John Blair had a comment, says, did you know the cent is not the smallest name unit in value in our currency? The mil equals 1/10 of a cent. He wants to know if you knew that.
You know what? The way it was read fast and the way me thinking about it right now, I don't know that.
Okay. Well, I mean, obviously it's not the smallest unit because we used to produce half-cent pieces. But
yeah,
I mean, anywho, give me 1 second, Rob. I'm going to full screen you even. I'll be right back.
Yep. Why make all those pennies, Harry Sachs, just to collect and destroy them? I'm not sure I understand, Harry. Why make all those pennies just to collect and destroy them? I don't know what that means. Maybe you could expand on that. Sorry. American Prairie Time. New composition for nickels means all coin counters are obsolete. Again, once they change anything, if we cancel out the penny and run out of coins in circulation, they'll have to round up. All the systems have to change. Same thing. But yeah, if they change the composition on any coin, then all current coin counters would have to be programmed for the different weights, unless they can keep the steel at 5 grams, which I doubt. Will penny value go up when they stop minting? Yeah, initially it will. And then after the FOMO happens, like I said, it'll probably slow down and be back to normal. We have enough pennies. Yeah, we have enough pennies. Sloppy stacks. I have said this on my channel for years. At the end of the day, the mint should have been reducing the mintages of a lot of the coinage. Once we went digital and cashless, they should have started minting a lot less every year, a lot less than they mint now. And that's why when 2024 mintages came out and they reduced some stuff, I was like, finally, this is what they should have been doing. They should have been reducing all of the coinage and letting it run through. Somebody, I think might have been John Blair, somebody shared an article with me that there is an estimated 40% of minted for circulation coins either in the ground, as in lost, or in the coin jars and savings and storage closets and garages and collections of people in the US already. So think about that. There's a lot of coins just sitting in jars and stuff like that.
Hey, Rob, I have something I wanted to show.
Yep.
You're not going to be able to see it right away, though, unfortunately, because of the delay
and
on
really
YouTube.
Quick, Sneaker, I got a response to what my question was for Harry.
Oh, please, go ahead.
If they're going to mint through 26, then stop using them. Don't they collect them and destroy them? I don't know what the exit plan is for pennies if it ever gets to that, but like someone said in the chat, they're going to mint them. They're going to allow them to run their course through circulation. It'll probably be 3 to 5 years minimum before they have all right, now we're done. Let's get them back. POS systems all across America are changed. POS is point of sale systems. That's for retailers. Everything knows to round up or down. We don't need them anymore. Now let's get them back. Let's recycle the copper. Let's recycle the zinc. That will be that won't happen immediately. So
Do you think they're going to lift the prohibition on us melting pennies?
I don't think so. I think the banks will be asked to do like they do with IKE dollars, send them back to the Federal Reserve so the Federal Reserve can allocate them properly for repurposing, like for the copper and the zinc content.
Well, they didn't do that with silver, though.
They didn't do that with silver because, you know what? That's a good point. I don't have enough time to think about my appropriate response there, but they didn't do it for silver because they changed the composition, not discontinued the denomination, if that maybe that's probably a part of it.
Yeah, that totally makes sense, guys. I know I just broke the stream. Hold on. They can hear us. They can't see us. And I don't have a way to fix it. Shoot, I'm not going to be able to show this off. That stinks. All right, Rob, I'm just going to put this up to the camera so you'll see it as soon as everyone else does.
They can't. What do you mean if they can't?
They'll see us in 2 seconds. Like, well, they can see us now. I tried to turn on my IP camera, but it's not working. I got you. Okay. Let me see if I can get this to focus. And tell me what you see there. The top.
I see a 38 proof.
Yeah. That's what I was trying to show you. So I do have a love for pennies. That is my 38 proof and my proof set I'm trying to complete.
Wow, you got a 38 proof?
Yeah. Isn't that pretty?
My oldest one's a 41, like you have the 41 as well. My oldest proof is a 41.
Yep, I got the 38 proof.
Wow.
I'll eventually finish that.
That's a tough. That 36, 37 are going to be impossibles.
Yeah, I know.
Well, not impossibles. You just got to say, I'm going to do this.
Yeah, it's not impossible, but not probable anytime soon. So anyway, you had brought up if I like pennies. Of course I do. I just don't have the time to hunt them.
I know you did. I know you've been a collector. You've always been a collector. You're not as much of a coin roll hunter. Like that's what I like to do. I like the coin roll hunt. You are more, and don't get me wrong, I like the silver stack. I like the metal pour. I like metal detecting. Now that I'm starting to feel better, I'm going to get back at that. But coin roll hunting has always been the beginning basis of my channel to even now it's been what I do. It's what I do.
Right. I just had to show it.
What's up, Coin Crew? As a quick reminder, at 7 o'clock when this show ends, you can join Coin Crew's live stream. He goes on at 7 o'clock. Keith's a great man. You'll enjoy his channel.
Yeah, don't go over there, though.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Definitely go over there. So I did miss part of the conversation while I was trying to find my book. So
they made proofs. Was it 1936 was the first official U.S. mint set proof set released?
Yeah, and it was something like that. Yeah, and
I think it was 36. They've made proofs. You can find 1800s gold proofs and Morgan proofs.
Oh yeah, there's 1895 Morgan dollar is proof only. The 1895p.
Yeah, they've had proof strikes for a long time, but an official full coinage set, I think, was 1936.
I think it was 36.
36. Yeah, you can look to Canada, John Blair, to see what the end of the penny will look like. I think if we have any Canadians in the chat, they can give us firsthand information about. I don't know if they stopped minting and immediately. I don't remember if in 2012, the last year of the Canadian cent, I don't remember if they leading up to it said this is going to be the end of the minting and the end of the using, or if they said it's the end of the minting and will give us 2 to 3 years before we halt it. I don't remember how it went. I didn't look into that. I'm not Canadian, so it wasn't something I was involved in and dealt with every day. So, but I'm sure it's easy to look it up. Mrs. Coin Crew's like, I'm still getting Canadian cents in my bankrolls. I know. Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Of course you will. And some of my Canadian friends say, Rob, you get more Canadian pennies than I get here hunting because everyone pulls them out here. I probably do. Matter of fact, don't make me grab my 65-pound bin. I've kept every single Canadian cent I've ever found, and it's either in a collection album or it's in that bin or it's in rolls if they're King George V and VI. So yeah, I've got a ton of them. I could probably make 4 boxes of Canadian pennies, $100 worth of Canadian penny boxes to hunt, even though they've been hunted.
All right, so what's up, man? Sorry, I was reading something on my phone. Sorry about that.
Coin Crew says, and I don't know the answer to this. I don't remember if there's a matte finish, but if I remember right, I think there's 2 different finishes on some of the proof coins in 1936. I don't remember if there was a matte finish on any proof coins in 1936 myself.
I know there was a 1909 VDB matte proof.
Correct.
Yeah.
I just don't remember if 1936 they threw a different finish on them or not.
Right. That'd be a cool coin to own, a 09 VDB proof.
over you. Any proof, any older proof any proof prior to 1953, most of those coins are worth a heck of a lot. I mean, since we're talking about proofs, what did I do with it? I'll let Seeker read William Fowler's comment really quick.
Well, I was actually going to read Resin Dragons really fast, who is here in the chat and says hello. Even though, unfortunately, Resin Dragon is not going to meet us in Tulsa. Really upset about that.
Oh my gosh.
Guys, trying to get over that. I cry at night thinking about it. William Fowler says, here in Canada, pennies are still accepted at stores, but once they reach the banks, they are sent to the mint to get repurposed.
Oh, okay.
But they didn't do that with 90% silver, so I don't know what they would do with pennies here in the U.S. I would prefer that they just release the prohibition against us melting them down. I mean, we can't melt nickels. However, there is a clause in the prohibition that says we can't melt nickels that allows for us to melt war nickels, right? So we should be allowed to mint copper pennies if they stop producing the penny, in my opinion. And then I can really upset people when I start melting pennies down and pouring stuff with them. It's going to be really fun.
Seeker, look at this. This is a boxed 1953 proof set.
Ooh.
And a boxed, not opened 1954 proof set.
Center it on the camera for everyone else. There you go. Yeah.
A boxed 1954 unopened proof set from the mint. And then this one was opened. The 1953 was open. I bought it open, but what do you do?
That's awesome, man.
Yep. Couple of fun ones right there.
Coin Crew says he had both. Did you hear what William Fowler said?
I read it. Yeah. They were still accepted by the businesses until the banks got them, and then they sent them back.
Right. Did Resin Dragon respond to me crying at night that they're not coming? I don't think she did.
Andrew, you can melt any U.S. silver. You can melt any U.S. silver.
Mr. Doug Fresh says that shirt is the only thing upsetting me, Silver Seeker. Oh, what's so bad about the Cardinals?
Oh, the Cardinals.
Oh, come on now.
It is Jeff Tiger Thomas, part of my collection. I've been wondering if I wanted to open it and submit them after opening it. But, once you open that set, it goes from I'm going to throw a number. I can't remember the last time they sold, but I'm going to guess from a $400 set to a $250 set once it's open immediately.
Right.
So it's like driving a car off the lot. You bought it for 60 grand. As soon as you drive off the lot, it's worth 51. All right. I think we've talked a lot about pennies. If there's any other questions about those, then great. We'll answer them. But Seeker, I'd like to turn to you.
Well, before we do, Ty McFadden said, you don't care that some fellow Americans are going to be affected negatively by this, and he's specifically talking about the zinc miners.
When you think about the production of the penny as relationships to how much zinc is really used, I don't know, and I'm ignorant to zinc's usage in other commodities and other technologies, and that's probably a Google search I should do, but I don't think there's enough zinc used for mint production of the pennies to really harm that aspect. I don't think there is. I think there's so many other uses for zinc that it shouldn't be a big deal. And by the way, zinc's a fun metal to melt and pour. It comes out looking like silver, but it comes out looking like chrome, I should say.
So according to ChatGPT, and I understand this isn't perfect, but it's a quick search, says approximately 2.7% of the zinc consumed in the United States was used for penny production in 95. More recent data indicates that only about 2% of the zinc refined in the U.S. is used for pennies. So I don't think it's going to hurt too many jobs. There's probably going to be a couple of companies that have been lobbying the U.S. government for the last 20 years to continue the production, because this isn't the first time it's been brought up, and it's certainly not the first time it's been lobbied against them stopping the production of the penny. That being said, yeah, the companies that make the planchets will lose that work too. Okay, I mean, fair enough, but that, life moves on. We can't continue, you can't continue to say, let's continue to throw money away just because it might negatively affect one industry. I'm sure they will be able to adjust.
It's a minimal amount. The companies that make the planchets are still rolling out sheets for consumption with a lot of corporations, or rolls of sheets, and all they do is just punch them and then sell them to the mint. So they're still going to be doing their regular work. But like Seeker said, according to ChatGPT, and take it for what it is, but it's still, like I said, I think it's minimal. It's 2 to 3% or so of the business. I don't think it's going to impact that greatly. And I don't want to get into an argument where it turns into anything political at the same time, because as you guys know on my channel, we just don't discuss politics. It's a lose-lose. It's a lose-lose, politics and religion and those things like that. It's just a lose-lose for everyone.
Agreed.
So at the end of the day, I don't think it's a big enough chunk of the pie. It's not like we're losing. It's not like we're shutting down all automakers in the U.S. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not like closing the doors on Ford. It's not like we're saying, all right, no more Apple. This is just a small percentage of waste that is being minted. I do personally think they should just lower all the mintages, because we're losing more on nickels than we are on pennies. We're losing more on nickels than we are on pennies. So per unit. So if they just cut the pennies down to even 100 million and the nickels down to 20 million or whatever number it might be, I think we'd save the same amount and not have to stop production on anything.
Well, you said per unit, but what about per dollar? What are we losing more on per dollar? Pennies.
The pennies.
Yeah, exactly.
We're losing more on the penny, because 3 cents times 100 is a lot more than 6 cents times 20.
Exactly. What was I going to? Someone asked me how fast do I type? Between 110 and 125, depending on, what the test, how the test I take, I guess. But I've tested it before. It's like
what's that?
Someone asked how fast I type. I guess because when I was looking up on ChatGPT.
I agree, Silver Chupacabra. The worst thing we did was make a coin that's biodegradable. I mean, at least with the copper cents, they might have been more expensive to produce, but honestly, not a lot more. And when you think about it, those things will last in circulation for a lot longer. Well, of course they're lasting a lot longer. Take a look at any wheat cent from the 30s and 20s. Unless it's heavily corroded because it was subjected to something environmentally different, it's outlasting the zinc cents. I could see zinc cents already from the 90s and early 2000s that are shriveling up and crumbling up to nothing. You pull a copper penny out of the ground, it looks beautiful. You pull a zinc cent out of the ground, it looks like it's not even a penny anymore.
What about a steel cent?
Steel cents, we had to do that. We had to do that. And those were actually coated with a small plating of zinc.
Yeah.
And if we took the nickels now and made them steel and coated them with a small plating of zinc or with steel, it would, nickel, we'd actually reduce the cost of that as well.
Right. A couple of people talking about typing. You want to know where I learned how to type? It wasn't because of taking typing classes or college or anything like that. It was literally my addiction to MMOs before voice chat was a thing. That's quite literally what did it, because I was playing EverQuest when it launched in '99, and TeamSpeak and all that didn't really exist yet, and even if it did, most people didn't have the bandwidth to support it.
Yeah.
So you had to type everything. That's where my typing speed came from. So anyway, there's a fun answer that's a little bit off topic. What were you going to say, Rob, to switch up
I
here?
was going to thank a few people in the chat. Thank you, Amaro, amigo, very kind words. And yeah, that is Fastest Coin Crew. I've never been tested. The last time I was tested was years ago. I don't know, probably 30 years ago. And I was, I think 70 or 80. I've never been a typer. Matter of fact, I don't have my hands ergonomically on the keyboard. But even when Charlani looks over my shoulder and sees me type, she goes, "You type pretty fast for how unorthodox you type." And I'm like, yeah, you know what? I have good muscle memory. You learn something wrong and you do it over and over again. That's why there's a saying, it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks, because that muscle memory will be the first thing that you go to in a panic situation or in any situation. So yeah, I don't type well, but I type good enough. And is typing even a requirement anymore? Matter of fact, is 10 key even a requirement anymore? It might be 10 key still, but
I mean, they didn't teach my kids cursive in high school. or school at all. So
they didn't have the big papers that had the big lines and the dots in the middle, and you had to slowly show how you can do cursive.
No, none of my kids were taught cursive in school. Seriously. So I don't know. Times change, I guess.
Times do change. Gina, do you think it's worth keeping 19 feet and older nickels? I don't. Remember. I show them in the hunts, but I always call them back. I only keep the nice AU or better nickels, and even those are starting to stack up.
Well, she should keep the 50 Ds. That look.
She should keep the 50. She should keep 1950 and 1950 Denver. Yes.
Sorry.
But yes. You should keep.
That was the look of death. You looked like my wife for about 2 seconds there.
Really?
That's
Anyway, bottom line is, some people are saying they're stacking nickels because of their value. I mean, I don't have the space or the resources to do it, to be honest. I only keep the nice numismatic value coins. I keep all semi-key dates and key dates, and I keep all really nice 1959 and earliers. And I mean, they've got to be really nice. They've got to be real. AU, maybe. MS for sure. That's me.
Yeah, fair enough. Oh, Jeff totally said Rob looks like your wife. He doesn't look like my wife. He just had that same stare whenever I say something stupid. She gives me that exact same look. I see it daily.
Yeah. Even writing checks is obsolete. I know. I had a guy work on my AC unit. He's probably a little bit older than me, probably 56, 57. And I go, hey, how do you want to pay? Zell? He goes, no, I don't do electronic. He goes, just write me a check. And I'm like, fine, do we have checks? Like, he wanted a check. Who wants a check? I'm like, I could Zell it to you, or I could transfer to you something. He's like, no, just do a check. I'm like, all right. So I wrote him a check.
So true story. I was in the grocery store a few weeks ago now, and the lady in front of me was so all right, I was next in line, and so there was a line backing up, and so the lady next, the register next to us opened up to get some people over, and she asked me over. I said, no, I'll wait. And so like the person behind me and then like two people back, basically the other line filled up, right? And the lady in front of me, turns out she was writing a check, and by time she was done paying, that other line had already cleared out. I'm so serious. I was getting quite frustrated. But by time I finally got the check out, someone that was like 4 or 5 people behind me was leaving at the same time I did. It was ridiculous. So of course. Resin says she's witnessed the look, LOL, from my wife. Sorry.
That's so great. Anyway, yeah. So pennies, man, what a bummer. At the end of the day, if it all goes down, worst case scenario, it plays out like this. This is my worst case scenario. They run through the blanks this year instead and say, we're just going to make a few extras for 2025. We'll make no pennies in 2026 other than the collector numismatic ones and the ones in special sets. So then we don't have any 2026s, and they overproduce 2025s. Then by the end of next year, they pass a law that says we are going to reclaim pennies. Please, banks, when you get them in, return them to the Fed as soon as possible. And you're still not allowed to melt them. You can spend them until POS systems are updated. And so now we have all these American citizens that are sitting on all these pennies, and we don't want to turn them into the bank because we know they're going to be gone and we know they're going to have value. And then the banks at the same time no longer hand out boxes early next year because they get told ahead of time this is going to happen. So plan for it. And that's the worst case scenario for me. I do believe that even if they ever said, all right, pennies are done, you're welcome to melt them or do whatever you want with the metals, they're yours, which they won't. But if they did that, I don't think you'll ever see me melting pennies. Maybe zinc cents, and make a video on melting zinc cents. But if I did melt any copper cents, you guys know I've pulled out every 1959 penny since I've ever started cornrow hunting, and I have them all. And I always said that if they ever legalized it, I would make a serial number set of 1,959 gram bars for 19 and stamp them 1959 out of just the 59 pennies and serialize them. I probably would do that if I ever did, although I don't know if I ever will. So yeah, there you go.
Fair enough. I don't know what else to say because you've been leading it. So where do we want to go from here? Are we done with pennies or are we going to keep talking about it?
We're done with pennies unless there's a question in the chat that you or I noticed that we want to address. It is bullion and beyond. We talked about some beyond stuff. And even though the beyond could also mean a lot of things, could talk about the best mac and cheese recipe that you've ever seen. It could be anything. That's why we have it beyond. I wouldn't mind talking a little bit about bullion. Where are we at on Premium Seeker? Any new video release that you have out there that you think, hey, this is a must watch for a new collector or new stacker or somebody who may have missed it that it provides good. I know your tax video was a great one, but not everyone has watched it probably.
Well, the tax video is just showing how bad taxes can be on bullion. So if you haven't seen that one yet, obviously, but if there's really some new stackers in here or even new collectors, I would say watch yesterday's video because I had a guy whose name is Mark, can't share his last name, send me this big box of crap that his dad bought from catalogs and from like, you know, infomercials.
Littleton?
Littleton. You saw it. There's Littleton stuff in there.
Who's the other big online? Well, we don't want to bash people.
Yeah, we're not here to bash people, but I mean, there was Littleton stuff in the box. But my point is there was a lot of stuff that he probably paid 10 to 20 times what it's actually worth. You know, they doll them up and they put them in those displays with the story and all that. And I shouldn't be saying too much, I guess, because like if we go to me full screen here, if you look at my background, like you can see like I have some of those things on display. But I bought those third party. I didn't buy those. You know, directly from the company that produced them and overcharged for them. I bought them after the fact. So I think they're cool, but I think the issue with stuff like that is how much they charge for that stuff when you order it from the catalogs or from, you know, QVC or HSN or whatever, or, you know, through the subscription catalogs that they used to do, kind of like, what was it, someone told me the name of it, I forgot. Remember the CD subscription? You buy a few CDs for 99 cents and then they start sending you one a month and you have to send it back or keep it. They charge you like $25. Yep. Littleton does that. So,
well, my mom used to buy the little tiny collector plates that you put on the wall and you put in their little things. And then I bought the Wildlife National Geographic card set. You'd get like 10 different animals a month. Whoever used to remember those mail orders where you would see it on TV, you would buy it, and you'd have like a plastic case that you'd open up and you'd put your cards in order and you'd be like, I still need another 20 more sets of cards. And once they got you in, you couldn't leave because you had to get the full set.
Yeah, true. I tell you.
Columbia House?
Columbia House. Yeah, Columbia House or BMG. Exactly. You get like 5 CDs for 99 cents. And you're like, sweet. And then all of a sudden they're sending you CDs once a month that they think you'll like. And if you don't send them back, and a lot of people forget to send them back, you get charged for it. And it's not cheap. It's like $25 a CD. And this is $25 back in 90s money, right? So a lot of money. Speaking of $25 back in 90s money, I've been binge watching old Three Stooges episodes on YouTube.
Oh my gosh. Hey Mo!
Well, I watched one episode where Curly won 50 grand on some like promotion thing. And I'm like, man, how much is that today? So I plugged it into a calculator and it's like 1.1 million.
It's
like,
nuts. Isn't it nuts to think about that? It's nuts to think about that.
Well, because Curly goes 50,000. We're rich. I'm like, man, how much was 50,000 back then? And sure enough, and that's based on the CP Lie calculator. We all know that it's probably even more than that, you know. So it's just crazy. And that kind of goes back to earlier when we were talking about pennies and then maybe getting away from the nickels and going to, you know, a 10 cents basis. It's like our money is worth so little now compared to what it used to be that we even have the ability to do that is insane. You know what I mean?
Cash is, listen, we've talked about it for the last 10 years, roughly, maybe the last 3 years more so, but cash is not going to be king pretty soon. You know, cash is not going to be king. The days of walking in, like, it's funny, since 2020, I've never asked more often than not, you guys take cash? it's even weird for me to say, but I've said it sometimes because I'll be in a mall store or whatever, and it looks all digital. You know, you don't even see a cash register. And you're like, you guys take cash? They're like, yeah, we still take cash. I mean, gas stations always will. Any place that offers services to a wide range of social economic classes, everyone needs gas, everyone needs food, and everyone needs a right to be hospitalized or to have medical care. Those will be the last places that stop having available cash typically. Doesn't mean there's not outliers, by the way, but they have to cater to all socioeconomic classes, and not everyone has Bitcoin, and not everyone has access to credit and credit cards and digital means of paying for things and Zelle and bank accounts. There's a lot of people that still, even today, will get a check in the mail from the government and have to pay a check cashing fee at a bank, because the banks will cash those. They know it's good money from the bank. Well, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they will just charge them a fee. And it sucks that they're taking a $400 monthly check to the bank and having to pay $8 check cashing fees, although it's better than the check cashing companies. But anyway, my point is, and I digress, the people, the services, when the company provides services that take care of all humans, those places will have cash the longest, and then the other places will drop off. Starbucks probably will stop taking cash first. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say services that bill you will likely still have to take cash.
Yeah, bill you.
Because it's a debt. So at that point, U.S. dollars is legal tender for all debts, public and private. So they'll have to take it. But places that don't, like, there's nothing that says Walmart can just say, no, we're not selling things for cash. You know what I mean? There's nothing in our laws that say your local corner store can't only accept seashells. Like, I think people don't understand this. They look at a dollar and it says legal tender for all U.S. debts, public and private. Debt is a very key word there. Like, I can open up a store right now and sell whatever I want, and the only type of currency I accept is, whatever the heck I want, like, sand dollars.
You only want pearls.
Yeah, I only want pearls. I only want sand dollars, and I can legally do that. It's only places that you owe a debt to that are required to accept the U.S. currency as a payment for said debt. But other than that, there's nothing keeping them from just, going straight to Bitcoin or going straight to credit only or whatever it may be. So I think that's ridiculous, but you're right. I mean, if I go to a Cardinals game, they don't take cash. We go to Six Flags, they don't take cash.
Yep.
Like, they actually have machines at Six Flags. I have a Six Flags near me. They have machines where you put money into it and it dispenses you a card that you can use around the park.
Even casinos, think about it. When's the last time? Well,
I don't go to casinos.
I don't go to casinos either anymore, but the last few times I ever went to a casino, it was all, I got a digital printout. I mean, I could cash it in. I could take my chips and get cash, but when you're playing the machines, they're almost all cash. I mean, I guess there's probably some on the Las Vegas strips or off the strip that has it, and probably some small towns as well. But I haven't seen a casino machine that takes literal cash in a long time. I could be off here. I don't go enough, but I do want to make a point here that somebody had said, J-Dog, in my opinion, if the U.S. ever becomes a cash society, it will be a failed society. The hackers will take over individuals' accounts and business accounts. And that's a great point, because no matter how much fail safes are put in, there's always somebody smarter and better coming up and learning. And then once they hack, then the government takes them. And then what they do is, instead of putting them in incarceration for years, if they're that good, they take their skills and then multiply it out to their accountants, is what I see. But we have to be careful too. All it takes is one, and I'm not a doomsdayer, but I'm still a prepper to an extent. All it takes is one big solar flare. And even though we have, what is it nowadays? I think they say they have 6 minutes to know if something's going to be detrimental to our electronic system when it comes from the sun, to figure out what to shut down. And they already have a contingency plan to shut things down so you don't lose your money and we don't lose our trade and all that stuff. Even if that were to happen, you better have some silver and some gold and some money, paper money sitting around, and money in places that's tangible and physical. Otherwise, what if you have nothing for a week because it's shut down? What if you have nothing?
You know what J-Dog said, it's a very good point, but we're kind of already there if you think about it, right? Because, yeah, maybe we're not a complete cashless society yet, but we're cashless enough that, you know, you can call the account hacking, whatever it may be, is already a major issue. I don't know how much worse it can get unless, you know, quantum computers become a thing and the race to getting quantum PCs outraces the ability to use that same quantum PC to secure everything. So that's one thing people need to consider. I don't think a lot of people quite understand. If you ever really want to jump down a rabbit hole, and keep in mind, I'm not an expert, so I'm not going to sit here and talk about it like I am. But I've watched many videos about how quantum PCs work and how they calculate, and it's actually really scary.
Scary.
So I'm not an expert. All I've done is jump down a YouTube rabbit hole like everyone else can do. But you know, I'll lay up at night and I'll watch 10 videos in a row. Like I did. I don't know how many, but it's like 5 to 10 videos in a row on quantum PCs, on AI controlled by all this, and it's just like, wow.
No. We are. I'm not a doomsdayer. I'm not, but I'm also not 19 years old and full of optimism about the world. I've been around 51 years on this planet. I know some of you in the chat have been around 60, 70, even more years, but I've got at 50 years old and being a Gen Xer, I've got a pretty good feel on old time stuff that has happened. The technology boom was my heyday, and seeing what's coming ahead. And there's some scary stuff if we don't prepare to an extent. To an extent, we just got to don't get taken by surprise by not having assets that are tangible and physical at the same time. You know, I'll give you an example. This woke me up years ago. In 1996, my daughter was 6 months old. We had just moved to Fresno, California, and there was a 3-day brownout. Brownout means no power at all. We had just moved in literally days before. We had an empty fridge, empty everything. We decided to go to the gas station to buy candles, bread, and milk. They were already sold out. We drove around long enough that every place was sold out, and now we couldn't get gas in our car, so we're out of gas. So we're sitting in our house, no food, no milk, no bread, no gas, can't go anywhere, no candles at night with a baby. And I said to myself, no. I'm never going to let this happen as the provider of my house again. I will be cognizant and see things as they happen and learn. So when we had the ice storm in Texas 7 years ago, when I saw the forecast was coming, don't think I didn't have bread, milk, gas, and everything in my house. I guess my point is, don't let it happen to you like it happened to me and be panicked. Just be ahead of the curve and do your research. And again, I'm not a doomsdayer. It's not like my final thoughts are, we're all gonna, I'm not saying that, but just be cognizant and be prepared for things and make sure you have your family set up. And that goes to your numismatic collection, your silver stack collection. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Leave notes of who to contact, have notes of where your accounts are and who can get to them, and make sure that's in your safe or available for somebody should you not be here the next day or something to happen. So there you go.
Exactly. I want to address a couple of things. Metal Dragon Braveheart says you can barter for whatever you want, but to sell you must take legal currency. I understand that, but there's nothing saying I have to sell. I could open up a corner shop and only barter for seashells. Like, it doesn't have to be called selling. So
who sells it there? Does she sell seashells at the seashell shop?
She may sell the seashells. I can't tell if she sells the shells that sell the sea. I don't know. Listen.
Really quick, Harrison Fulbright has asked a few times, going back to cash, what about Starbucks? I heard those are being phased out too. They are going to be phasing them out to an extent. They've already talked about it, and here's what they're planning on doing. Instead of printing sheets with consecutive runs and then having mistakes and inserting the serial number with a star and changing it so it's legal replacement note, they're going to have mixed serial numbers, because now they don't have to worry about it keeping track in numerical order. They're going to print sheets. So now when you get a bank strap, it won't be a brick from 1 to 1,000. It's going to be mixed. So by having it mixed, they won't need replacement notes. They can just scan that note and let it go in order and not worry about it. that is why you've heard this replacement note theory of happening. I've not seen an official release from anything yet, but if that happens, yeah, star notes. I wish I would have kept the 700 or 800 I found over my life at some point, but yeah, they might go away as well.
Yep, absolutely. You know, what was I going to say? Oh, someone said something about AI could take over now. I forget who said it. I apologize for not calling you out. You know what's crazy? If you want to go down another rabbit hole, just go down the rabbit hole of how much AI has advanced in the last 2 years. Look at the Will Smith eating spaghetti video from like 2 years ago that was created by AI, and look at the one that they did like this month, and it's
AI is
uncanny.
writing music and creating its own YouTube channel and making its own YouTube shorts that, you know, like a cat staring at a cobra face to face. You know, those are all AI generated. Like, look at this stare down, and you're like, oh, and you're watching because you're wondering when the snake's going to attack it. AI is taking over, man. People are using AI to create 6-figure incomes off of doing nothing besides plugging in a couple ideas and letting AI publish it and do it all.
Another thing I wanted to address is Resin said, and be smart how you keep your information. Hackers go after the easy and vulnerable. I'll show you something. I'm actually going to show it on camera. This is a portable hard drive. I have a file on here that has all the information my wife will need if I were to croak right now. This is cold storage, if you will. If you're a crypto guy, you'll know what that means. Yep. This does not stay plugged into my PC. She knows where it is. She knows how to get into it. She knows it's encrypted. She knows the password to open it. So you can't just plug this into any PC and open it either. You have to have the password or be logged into a certain account to even unlock this. So there's a reason I do that is because I don't want that information online where someone can actually hack and get it. So
the problem is Seeker on the backside, he didn't show the backside. He actually had taped the password. And I was like, Seeker, don't do that. Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, the password's right here under my hand. I'm just kidding.
You know what? That's actually better than the paper notes. I was keeping it simple in the safe, but you know what? I don't have that cold storage like that. I have a cold storage for my Bitcoin. I don't have a cold storage for that. That's actually a good buy. So not a good buy, but it's a good purchase.
Although we do need to do a goodbye soon because we're almost there.
Oh, we do. We're 3 minutes to the goodbye.
And we would, you know what? We would stay 3 hours, honestly, but Coin Crew, you know, he's a horrible guy and just, he's always stingy about his own stream. He's like
texting us, get off.
He's like, what are you guys doing? You need to not go. What are you doing? This is messed. No, I'm just kidding. Guys, you should definitely go check out his stream. Great. They have a great stream. They, unlike us, are very consistent every Tuesday, Rob.
Seeker, you had the food poisoning. I was having a bad Tuesday. I have bad days once or twice a week still. I'm not I know I look good sometimes as far as health wise, but I still have 1 to 3 bad days a week. I just hope that they're not on stream nights.
Hey, you want to know something? And I'll leave a story about food poisoning. I'll tell you a story how I got that food poisoning, and it's really actually quite upsetting. Keep in mind, there are exceptions, for example, if I'm on a cruise, but for the most part, like 99.9%, I do not go to buffets. I definitely do not go to buffets in Jefferson County, Missouri. If you ever want to know how bad Jefferson County, Missouri is, just Google search Metherson County on the Urban Dictionary and see what it says. Anyway, I said for the heck of it, my wife and I were out, and we decided to stop and go to a buffet. I'm like, you know what? Whatever, it'll be fine. One buffet ain't gonna kill me. Sure enough, I was vomiting that night. I was so sick. I broke my rule. I called
Seeker the next day, and he was like, it was like, not that it was fake, but it sounded like if someone was, in the old days would fake their boss calling in sick. He was like, hello. I was like, what?
Dude, I felt dead. It was so gross. Never again. And I said that before, but I will hold to it this time. And like, keep in mind, I'll go to the buffet on like really fancy, nice places. You know, they keep everything nice and clean and well, but your standard Golden Corrals, no.
I like Golden Corral, Seeker.
All right, I'm not saying Golden Corral specifically, maybe, but I'm not going to low end. I'm just not doing it. Just no. No. That's just the end of the story. No, I got so sick. I was so sick. I was so sick. Man, I was so sick. I felt so bad. All right, we need to go. It's 7 o'clock. They're getting ready to go live.
Oh gosh, we gotta go. Listen, hopefully you guys had fun. As a quick reminder, these are created sort of like podcasts. So remember, if you missed it or you want to rehear it to see if you missed some points, you can have this playing in the background. All it is basically you don't need to see us. You can just hear us and you can hear the questions we answered. I know the chat adds a lot of value by seeing what they wrote, but if you're ever just a truck driver or you're driving or you want something in the background instead of a nonfiction romance novel or a fiction romance novel, I should say, you can play this. So there we go.
Fair enough. Rob, can you, I tried to post a link, but I'm not a mod.
Oh my gosh, Digger, we didn't do the giveaway.
Oh! Uh-oh.
Put me on the big screen really quick. We'll do it fast.
All right, here we go.
I am giving away a one-of-a-kind Bullion and Beyond MS63 Brown 1909 VDB cent in a holder signed by me, Bullion and Beyond on the back. And if you guys want to win it, we're giving it away. Secret hasn't said how we're doing it, but we're ready to do it right now.
That is a valid question. Let me Google search something. Hold on. I'm Google searching. All right. Where are the answers? Oh, all right. I found the answer key. All right, hold on. Let me look it up and then get the answer key. All right. I'm trying to find one that's not super hard. All right, here we go. Number 5. This one everyone should know, especially Rob.
Is it the first one that answers in the chat?
It's the first person that answers in the chat after I say go. I'll type go, answer now. Okay, so the question is... Oh, wait, actually, I'll post the question in the chat. Yeah, all right, here we go. Yeah.
It's the first one after I see the post.
Yeah.
I graded an MS63 Brown. It has a slight discoloration, but it has mint state details. It's 1909 VDB, not the S.
All right, so after I type the question in the chat, the first person to answer it after the question's in the chat will be the winner. So you'll have to read it and then answer it because of delay. So here we go in 5, 4.
And it's first on my screen, not your screen.
First on Rob's screen. In 5, 4, 3, 2, go. Excuse me. What was the year of the first U.S. small cent produced for circulation? I see the answer already.
Bombay.
I don't see the answer then. Small cent, Rob.
Oh, small cent.
Yes.
Oh, nice trick question.
Well, it's a 2-part trick question. So, do you see the correct answer?
I'm looking for it right now.
It was really quick.
I see the first person that I see.
1857.
Yep, Sam Wilson. Because
Yes.
1856 was a proof flying eagle. It was not produced for circulation.
Exactly. That's why it's a double trick question.
Double trick question. Sam Wilson, 1857. That's the correct. So 1793 was the first large cent produced. 1792 was a pattern, didn't count. 1856 was the first small cent, but it was a proof not produced for circulation. 1857 Flying Eagle was the correct answer. Sam Wilson, he wins. Sam, send me an email. Claim your one-of-a-kind slab 1909 VDB, probably MS63 Brown, small cent, the first year of the Lincoln cent, the first design with the VDB from the Philadelphia Mint, who produced pennies before the San Francisco Mint did. There you go.
Hey, Rob, do me a favor and make me a mod really quick so I can spam Keith's channel.
I need you to type something in the chat.
All right, here. Did you see that? It probably got blocked. All right, here. I'm just going to type something. There you go.
By the way, if you guys can quickly run over there. Oops, hold on. Not that.
Oops. Damn it, I forgot to type the... Am I a mod?
You are a mod now.
All right.
Sorry. Every time I try to click on you, it moved forward and almost made someone else a mod. Go raid Keith's stream. Thank you guys for being here. We're going to run over there really quick. I have dinner ready, but I'm going to run over and say hi. At least run over there, give him a like, and say hi, and check out his stream.
All right, there we go. Nice. Yeah, we're good. I spammed it. Oh yeah, you're still full screen here.
Oh.
Yeah, that's okay.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Yep. Have a good night. Have a good night. See ya.